Okay, let's jump right in and find out what the headshot conversation is all about. If you can apply this technique to your headshots, it will take your headshot 2 or 3 levels to really make your headshot stand out from the crowd. It'll take it from being a boring, flat, lifeless headshot to something that jumps off the page and grabs the casting directors by the scruff of his neck and says, "Take notice of me, here I am." So an awesome headshot has to have these 3 elements. It has to have connection, emotion, and personality. And these are the 3 elements that form up what I call the headshot conversation. Okay, so let's break them down. First of all, connection. The most important thing with any headshot is that it connects with the viewer. So when it's a casting director, an agent, a producer, a colleague, or whoever it may be, looks at your photograph, they think and they feel that you are looking directly at them, that you're connecting with them. And this starts with having your eyes focused in the right place. How many times have we seen headshots where eyes are glazed and flat and there's no focus to them? Where we see eyes looking over shoulders or sometimes off into the distance. Too many, honestly, too many times I see this, and I find it really frustrating, and I feel sorry and I feel sad for the actor who has a headshot like that. So we need to make sure your eyes are connecting with the viewer. How do we do that? Well, it's very simple. You need to look through the lens as though you're looking at the eyes of the photographer. Now, I've spoken in other videos about choosing the right headshot photographer for you, and if you choose the right headshot photographer for you, it's going to be much easier for you to connect with them. So the headshot conversation starts with you connecting with the photographer. Do your research, choose the right headshot photographer for you. So once you're communicating with them and your eyes in the right place, what that means is that when your image is transposed to a digital image on the screen or in a brochure, your eyes are focused in the right place, and so the person looking at it feels as though you're looking at them. It's very simple, but so many people make this mistake. Secondly, your eyes need to be full of emotion. I mentioned a few minutes ago about looking at the headshots of other actors who have flat, boring, lifeless, glazed eyes, almost like the dead fish. Well, how on earth can you expect a casting director to look at a headshot like that, an actor who has that headshot, and think, wow, they're just the person I want to invite down to audition? They're not showing anything, and therefore you need to be showing emotion, true and real emotion in your eyes. I have several techniques to do this, but one of my main techniques is I want an actor to act. I want them to perform. That's what you guys do. That's what you're trained to do. That's what you love doing. So why not get in front of the camera and perform? Now, I've got to go back to the first part about connection and choosing the right headshot photographer for you. Now, if you're comfortable with this headshot photographer, then when they ask you to express emotion or to act or be yourself, to open up and be yourself, you'll feel comfortable doing that. And if you don't feel comfy with that photographer, you won't. You'll always hold back. You'll always be a little nervous, somewhat circumspect about showing the true you. But in all honesty, you need to have real emotion, your emotion, in your headshot to make it work for you. And the final thing I mentioned is personality. Now, this is the element that really takes your headshot up the next 2 or 3 levels and makes you jump out of the page. And as I said earlier on, grab the casting director by the scruff of the neck and shake them and say, look at me, I'm perfect, here I am. And how do we do that? Well, we need to inject your personality. Look, there are thousands of actors who look like you, have a similar build to you, similar age to you, have the same kind of training as you. And how do you make your headshot stand out from them? How do you make yourself different from those actors? Well, it's by injecting your personality. And when we look at headshots and we see the personality in somebody, we can't help but like that person if they are showing nice, warm, friendly personality. Now, they may be somebody who's showing dark and devious personality, but we see that instantly and we make that judgment straight away that we dislike them or we're suspicious of them. So it's really, really important. And in fact, I can't stress it enough how important it is to inject your personality into your headshot. And if you're with the right headshot photographer, they will encourage you to do this, and they will allow you to do this and allow you to express your personality, your real personality. And it's not about big cheesy smiles or crazy faces. It's about you and expressing who you are. And, more importantly, how you interpret a role. The famous director Danny Boyle did a production of Frankenstein, a two-hander starring Dominic Cumberbatch and Johnny Lee Miller in London a few years ago. And what he did was he had them swap roles each evening. Dominic Cumberbatch played the monster one day and the doctor the next day, and vice versa. It's interesting to note how they injected their personality into the role. And for want of another term, personality could be creativity. They both brought a different thing to each character, even though it's the same script and the same director. They injected their personality. And that's what you have to do in your headshot if you wanted to grab the casting director's attention, if you want more work and more auditions. This is what I call the headshot conversation. It's the conversation that your headshot has with the viewer. And in our case of actors, it's the conversation your headshot has with the casting director. The casting director wants to see a real person, a real actor, not some kind of pastiche or flat, glazed over face.